All right, guys, so part two of getting boost auto mirrors in. So obviously have the wire trimmed in. I just plugged it in to keep the wire out of the way. You don't have to do that. I'm going to try to make this part easier to understand versus, I don't know. Boost autos isn't hard by any means to understand. I'm just trying to like show you guys what the easiest way for me was. So I had to Torx take this out. These they ride off of these clips. So like when you pull out, you're just going to be able to put it right back in. But Torx 15 on these, there's 2 bolts. And then this, like, you have to grab it from the backside and pull it out. But once you pull it out, I guess I didn't have to take this white piece off. But this white piece just clips like right in here. So I'm going to clip that back in here in a second. And I feel like that was the easiest way to get the route with the coat hanger through this. So if you've watched Boost Auto and you're like, man, I'm still kind of struggling, I did that. And then another thing I did on the inside was this Christmas tree clip right here. I pulled it out so that you can see where that wire is running in the cab, because if this insulator is all the way in, it makes it extremely difficult to see what you're doing. Once the wire's in, it's very, very easy to understand. But I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. But I just wanted to show you guys, that to me is the easiest way. And I also, this zip tie right here, I did cut this to get a little bit more play in the wire. And I will zip tie this back together. But I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to pull all the wire through so that it's very tight against the door. Secure all this how I feel is fit, which will probably be like, probably up against this. Just put a piece of tape or a zip tie around it and put this back together and slide that back in. But for me, weather stripping right here, weather stripping right here is all I had to remove. And then to get this, if you're struggling with this, close your door about halfway and it's going to give you more room to get this whole thing out. So let me keep moving forward, but I wanted to give some little tips on what I did. All right, guys, so on the passenger side, it's basically rinse and repeat. Again, I got this out, Torx 15 right here. And remember, when you pull this out, you kind of got to pry it back. Got all the tape off of this wire. I didn't cut the zip tie on this time. I feel like I got a little bit more room. Maybe I know what I'm doing this time. I don't know. Took this white clip off. It's just going to be way easier and more direct shot in there with the wire. But this side does not have a plug, which would be nice because you can just feed your orange wire off of your Boost Auto mirrors right into that. So I was expecting 2 clips out. The driver's side has, and it doesn't have that. Something to make this process a little easier on getting this clip out, so you're not going to like sit here and pry on it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this one hand, but I got a little pick here, and each clip, you can literally feel it, and I think you could hear that too. So just hold out, and then there's going to be one on the bottom, which I'm not even looking, but I think I got it. I don't know. It's really hard to record and do this, but yeah, this side's going to be a little easier. And I'll say this, guys, once you do the driver's side, the passenger side, it feels like it's 10 times easier. So let me get the wires routed through here. I'll show you how it looks. And then the easy part, getting it into the engine bay and wiring it up. And lastly, before we start routing wires here, this is exactly what I'm using to get this through here. Just make sure you're careful. This is not exactly sharp, but you make sure you don't want to cut a wire or anything. So, but just using a coat hanger with some electrical tape and just feeding it through there. Once I get it through there, obviously remove the electrical tape, but this is what I'm doing for right now. All right, so the wire ran through here, up to the boot. I'm about to run it through this grommet, and then I'm going to fish my coat hanger through here and scoop the wire out from down here. I'm trying to make this, guys, as easy as possible for you guys so that it's not hard to understand. I will say this. Make sure you have your door figured out with how much extra slack you want to have in it prior to tightening all this stuff back down, because as soon as you put this white clip back in this boot, your wires are pretty snug. So if you try to get a little bit more slack in the cab or wherever, the wires ain't moving. So just keep that in mind. I'm trying to, lesson learned, I kind of didn't have the wires exactly where I wanted them on the driver's side. Tried to move it, and believe me, I had to end up like taking the whole door apart again to do it. So keep that in mind, but that's how I'm looking. About to do a coat hanger through the inside grommet through here and catch out here and then shoot across. All right, guys, pretty much on the last phase, minus like reassembly of doors and stuff. I'm not going to reassemble the doors obviously until until I make sure that the switchbacks are actually lit up. But this is the wiring I have. I'm gonna see if there's enough slack on this wiring to run them both to the engine bay and then just tie them both into the single fuse tap that I have. I've done that with multiple other things and never had an issue, so that's why there's a fuse tap. But if there's not enough wire from that one, I'm obviously just gonna have to connect them too. So I'm not sure if I'm just gonna get like one of those quick connectors that splice the wire. I forget what it's called, I forget the actual true name of it, or if I'm just gonna slit it and maybe solder it up. So we'll see. But this is where I'm at right now. Guys, you can see daylight on the other side. Just straighten your coat hanger. There's two pieces right here, by the way, are so easy. Just reach right under here, pull out, good to go. So almost to the engine bay. All right, guys, so long story short, tested the driver's side because both of these are not long enough to go to the engine bay, so only one. I'll show you guys the slit that I had to make in my grommet in the firewall. I'm just gonna put some tape around it. It was like a really small, it's not a big deal. And tested that. You have to test it with the truck on. I actually was like diagnosing some stuff. You saw that I took that off because if I turned my lights on when the truck was like off, it wasn't going to switch back. Whenever I turned the truck on, it would actually work. So I was like, I don't know why that is, but that is the case. If you're wondering what I'm going to do with the passenger side wire, I'm going to pull that back through because I want to be able to tuck it up under to make it really clean. But I'm going to be using one of these connectors. These are called quick splice connectors. You see this end has one open side and one dead side. I don't want to say dead side, just a closed side. So the closed side, I'm going to put this one in, and then all I'm going to do is once I get this one snugged up, put this one in, and then get a pair of pliers and push down on that and clip these two together, run some tape around them to make sure they keep a good connection. And let me show you the engine bay. And as far as the engine bay, this is the fuse that I'm running into right on the other side of that. And don't worry, I'll clean this up, but you can see that's the grommet that I came out of. And yes, I did use a coat hanger. But yeah, switchbacks look sick. So let me tidy this up, get this quick connector in, use some tape so it's clean, get all this up because the interior, it's a wreck. And my kids are calling. All right, guys, so minus the whole mess here, putting the interior back together. Something I kind of wanted to point out now that I'm done, I'm going to put the whole interior back together, show you guys what it looks like unlocking and everything, is this wire right here. I already have it connected on the other side, so I don't feel like disconnecting it. I wish I would have ran it through the top here, just to kind of be out of the way a little bit. Like when I put the plastic piece on, it's still going to be out of the way, but these are just small helpful tips that I wish I would have done. Looking back, I guess I could redo it, but I already have the wires like taped, spliced, so I don't feel like doing that. But passenger side, definitely run through this top part. It'd make it easier on you, just to keep it out of the way from like feet and stuff. All right, guys, this will be the last part of this video. Got them all wired up, so give a full rundown. I guess I got my fogs off, but Morimoto fogs, 6 match LEDs in there, and then the boost autos, which I know my voice is kind of raspy, I'm a little sick, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn the blinkers on so that you guys can see them too. Guys, these mirrors completely done are so sick. They're so good. Hang on, let me turn the four ways on for you guys, which, by the way, shameless plug, custom interiors, so nice. If you do not have these boost autos, you guys are wrong. I'm serious, they're so good. Obviously, just with the four ways, I just wanted to show you guys, but obviously works same exact way with the blinkers.